Hello and welcome to Dunia's Alchemy. Here is a list of topics for paper 1 and paper 2. This video we will be looking at quantitative chemistry, which is in paper 1 of chemistry. Now this topic, as you can see, has a lot in the specification for AQA. So what I've done is I've actually broken it down depending on what tier you're doing. So if you're doing foundation, higher or triple. Now for foundation students, make sure you know the green points, which is from 1 to 4. If you're doing higher, you're going to need to know both the foundation and the higher content, so the green and the blue. If you're doing triple, make sure you know all three. And I'm going to have separate videos on each one. So everyone should start off from the foundation one, then move on to the higher. And then if you're doing triple, make sure you watch that triple one. So let's begin. This is a GCSE chemistry video on quantitative calculations part 1. Everyone should be watching this one. This video breakdown is below. We're going to have a look at what is conservation of mass, finding relative atomic mass and relative formula mass, and also what's the difference between them, percentage by mass calculations, and also figuring out concentration of solutions. So let's begin. Conservation of mass is essentially the mass of reactants are equal to the mass of products, so no atoms are lost or gained in a chemical reaction. This tends to be shown by a balanced reaction, so you have 2 magnesiums on the reactant side and 2 magnesiums on the other side of the arrow, the product side. You also have 2 oxygens in the reactant side and also 2 more oxygens in the product side, as shown by that 2 at the front, which goes for everything that comes after it. How do we calculate relative atomic mass and relative formula mass? Essentially, AR is for single atoms. Okay, so relative atomic mass, so it's just the atom, is for single atoms, and that can be found directly from the periodic table. Whereas when it comes to the formula mass, look at the word formula, it's going to have molecules or compounds. It has more than one atom. The values are also found from the periodic table, but they need to be added. So let's solve some questions on both of these. We're going to find the relative atomic mass of each of these. So firstly, just to highlight, AR over here simply means relative atomic mass, okay, and that's for each individual element. So you can see over here you have individual elements. So the way you find it is you're going to look at the periodic table. When you look at the periodic table for sodium, you will see the symbol for sodium, which is Na. You're going to see a 23 at the top and an 11 at the bottom. 23 at the top over there is your AR. So that means all you need to do is literally just find that value that is always there at the top. Therefore your answer for sodium is 23. So oxygen on the periodic table has a symbol O. It has 16 at the top as a mass number and 8 at the bottom. Remember, you're always going to be looking at the top number as your mass number, and therefore oxygen has an atomic mass of 16. Now moving on to magnesium. So magnesium has a symbol Mg. It has 24 at the top and 12 at the bottom, and therefore you're going to see that that 24 at the top is also equal to your mass number for magnesium. And then last but not least, you have your potassium, which is K. Potassium at the top is 39. It is 19 at the bottom, which means, you guessed it, 39 is going to be your mass number. And I promise you it is as simple as that. Now we're going to look at how to find relative formula mass. So when it comes to MR now, we're going to find relative formula mass. The first one is for sodium oxide. So sodium oxide has a formula of Na2O. When you have more than one element, so we've got sodium and we've also got oxygen. That's when you're going to refer to the MR. However, if it's single and it's on its own, then that is when you're going to find the AR. That's really all the difference is. It's the same thing. It's just one is single atoms and the other one is entire compounds or molecules. So sodium oxide has a formula Na2O. Let's find them separately. How does it look? So sodium from the periodic table is 23 at the top and 11 at the bottom. So I'm just kind of redrawing it for you. And then oxygen is 16 at the top and 8 at the bottom. So how we're going to find that now over here is, so sodium is 23, we know that from here. However, as you can see from the question, there are 2 lots of sodium. So I'm going to multiply this by 2. That small 2 goes for what is just before it. Okay, so it only goes for that sodium. It does not go for the oxygen that comes after it. So it's going to be 23 from here multiplied by 2. And then I'm going to add it to our value for oxygen. Oxygen has a value of 16. So I'm going to do 16. And my answer for that is 62. Next one we're going to look at is lithium hydroxide. The formula for lithium hydroxide is LiOH. Okay, let me try and separate these out a little bit. There we go. So lithium hydroxide has a formula LiOH. This time we have 3 different atoms attached, okay, or 3 different elements. So the first one is your lithium, the second one is your oxygen, and lastly you also have hydrogen. So we need 3 different elements. When you look at lithium in the periodic table, it has a 7 at the top and a 3 at the bottom. That was wonky, but anyways. And then oxygen is 16 at the top and then an 8 at the bottom. And then finally hydrogen has a 1 at the top and then 1 at the bottom. So that means that relative mass for lithium is 7. It means that the relative mass for oxygen is 16 and the relative mass for hydrogen is 1. And all we need to do is add them up, simply because there are no 2's that I need to be worried about. So I'm just going to do 7 plus, notice how I'm always adding in between as well, 16 plus hydrogen, which has a value of 1. And that answer is 24. Okay, moving on to the next one. Next one we're going to look at is aluminium hydroxide. Now, aluminium hydroxide has a formula of Al, OH, and then a 3 over there. Now, normally I've told you that the 3 goes for the element directly before it. However, we have something interesting, which are these brackets here. And that means that 3, which would normally go, so if it was something like this, then that means the 3 only applies for that hydrogen. But if there's brackets around it, then that means that 3 not only goes for the hydrogen, but also for the oxygen. So that means we have 3 lots of our oxygen and 3 lots of our hydrogen. So we're going to need that in our calculation. So aluminium on the periodic table is a 27 at the top and then a 13 at the bottom. And then we've got oxygen. Remember, you don't need to keep redrawing this. I'm not showing you the periodic table, so I'm just redrawing them for you. Obviously, if you have the periodic table in front of you, and you will in your exam, you don't need to do this each time. And then lastly is your hydrogen, which has a 1 at the top and a 1 at the bottom. And then if I kind of relabel my elements again, so I've got aluminium, there's your mass number. I've got 1 oxygen. Actually, no, I've lied. I don't have 1 oxygen, I've got 3 oxygens. And oxygen has a mass number of 16. And then last but not least, I have hydrogen. And hydrogen has a mass number of 1. So when we add all of that, the aluminium is 27 plus my oxygen, which is 16. Remember, we're multiplying them by 3 because of everything in the brackets, this whole section over here. We're multiplying it by 3. And I'm also going to multiply my hydrogen by 3. That gives me an answer of 78. We're now going to move on to the last one, which is potassium carbonate. And that has a formula of K2CO3. I'm going to show you how the element looks on the periodic table. The potassium has 39 at the top and 19 at the bottom. You have carbon, which is 12 at the top and then 6 at the bottom. And then you have oxygen, which is 16 at the top and 8 at the bottom. The more you practice this, the simpler it gets, okay? It gets very repetitive. So your potassium, that's your mass number. Your carbon, that's your mass number. Your oxygen, that's your mass number. And we're also mindful of the values of each. So I've got 2 potassiums. There's no brackets here, so I don't need to do multiple elements. And with that, let's get started. So potassium is 39. So 39 multiplied by 2 plus 12 on its own, plus oxygen, which is 16 multiplied by 3. And that gives me a value of 138. And there you have it. The second thing we're going to have a look at is how to calculate percentage by mass. This is the equation. Make sure you note it down. Essentially, what you're going to do is you're going to find how much of one specific element is in the entire compound. So we're going to multiply that element by any number of atoms it has, and you're going to divide it by the MR of the total compound. Notice how it's the atomic mass of that element because it's on its own, divided by MR of the total compound because it's an entire formula. The next thing we're going to do is find the percentage by mass of oxygen in sulfuric acid. So on the side over here, I've given you the formula for sulfuric acid. So in order to find the percentage of oxygen, what you're going to do is you're going to find the MR of our oxygen. We're going to divide it by the MR of the entire compound, which in our case is our sulfuric acid, H2SO4. The key thing you need to note is that if you have more than 1 oxygen, which we do over here, we've got 4 oxygens. Remember that small number goes for the element directly before it. Then you're going to have to multiply this whole thing over here by 4 because you have 4 oxygens in the actual formula. So let's go ahead and find that. So 16 is our mass number for oxygen. So this time I'm just going to show it as oxygen is 16, hydrogen is 1, sulfur is 32. So 16 multiplied by 4 divided by 2 multiplied by 1 for the hydrogen, plus your sulfur, which is 32, plus your oxygen, which is 16 multiplied by 4. And then times in that by 100. So the value for that is about 65%. Now we're going to do this next one. So this time we're looking at lithium carbonate, and this time it says find the percentage mass of lithium. So the percentage mass of lithium equals to the MR of lithium. Okay, again, note how we've got two of them. Okay, that 2 goes for the lithium before, just before it. So we're going to multiply that by 2, and we're going to divide it by the whole compound, which would be the MR of Li2CO3. And multiply it by 100 since it is a percentage. So when we go ahead and do that, lithium has a value of 7, multiplying that by 2, divided by our 7 again, multiplied by 2, plus, okay, so we're going to be ticking it off each time, carbon, which is 12, okay, over here, here's a carbon, and then our oxygen, which is 16 multiplied by 3. And I'm going to multiply that by 100, and my answer for this should be about 18.9% to 3 significant figures. Next thing is concentration of solutions. As you can see over here, we've got 2 very important equations. You're really going to focus more on that second triangle, the one with the concentration, mass and volume, and I've given you the units for them. So let's break that down a little bit further. So now we're going to look at the formula for concentration. Concentration equals your mass divided by your volume. And that's why it's represented in units of grams, also known as gram per decimeter cubed. Now the question is, how do we go from mole per decimeter cubed to gram per decimeter cubed? Okay, that's the big question. How are we going to do that? Now, when you look over here, you're going to notice that my decimeter cubed is the same both ways. I don't need to change anything regarding the volume. What I do need to change is from mole to mass. Now, I'm going to introduce you to the first equation that links both your mole and your mass, and that is moles equals to mass divided by your MR. And if you remember, your MR is what we calculate using your periodic table. I can also represent it in this triangle formula, like this, where we have mass at the top divided by moles times your MR. And the reason why I personally always prefer the triangle method is because of the fact that you can always kind of cover whatever you're looking for. So if you're looking for your mass, all you need to do is, so imagine I was to cover it with a highlighter. I know highlighters do the opposite, but all I need to do is your mass, your moles multiplied by MR. That's it. If instead though, I'm looking for moles, in this case, so let me just highlight moles this time, then all I need to do is my mass, as you can see over here, divided by my MR. Now this time we're going from mole to mass. So since we're trying to find the mass, the equation would rearrange itself to find mass. So what I do is mass is equal to moles times MR. And therefore, all I need to do to get from here to here is multiply by the MR. And don't worry, we're going to do more practice on that in the next video. So we're going to answer exam question on how to calculate concentration of solutions. A solution of sodium chloride has a concentration of 5 gram per decimeter cubed. Calculate the mass of sodium chloride dissolved in 200 centimeter cubed of solution. So first thing we're going to have a look at is the fact that our units over here aren't actually quite aligned. On one side we have 5 grams per decimeter cubed, and on the other side we have 200 centimeter cubed. So we need to make sure our meters cubed are the same. One is in decimeter cubed and the other one is in centimeter cubed. So how we convert from centimeter cubed to decimeter cubed, so how you convert is that you divide by 1,000. So therefore, if you want to go in the reverse direction, from decimeter cubed to centimeter cubed, you're going to multiply by 1,000. So over here, we have it in decimeter cubed, and we also have this in centimeter cubed. We want to operate using our decimeter cubed. So we're going to convert this centimeter cubed into decimeter cubed. And how we do that is, to start from centimeter, going to decimeter, we're going to divide by 1,000. So when we divide 200 by 1,000, we're left with 0.2 decimeter cubed. So now we have a value of decimeter cubed here. We also have a value of decimeter cubed over here. We can now find the mass. So concentration, if you remember the equation, concentration equals to mass divided by volume. Question's asking us to calculate the mass. So we're trying to find the mass, okay? So in order to rearrange for the mass, I'm going to take volume to the other side. So that means mass is equal to concentration times volume, okay? Our concentration from the question was 5. Our concentration was 5 over here. Put 5, and we're going to multiply that by 0.2. And that should give us a value of 1 grams. Let's look at the next question. A student prepares 750 centimeter cubed. So a student prepares 750 centimeter cubed of potassium nitrate solution, and it has a concentration of 12 grams per decimeter cubed. Calculate the mass. So the first important thing is write down what you have. We have 750 centimeter cubed. Remember, centimeter cubed means your volume. So this is my volume. Okay, and then over here we have our concentration, because it's concentration that's in grams per decimeter cubed. So we've got 12 grams per decimeter cubed, and that is my concentration. Before we get to do anything, we have to convert this into decimeter cubed. We cannot use centimeter cubed against the decimeter cubed here. It has to both be decimeter cubed or both be centimeter cubed. To make it easier, we'll just convert this centimeter cubed. So let's turn this into decimeter cubed by dividing by 1,000. When I divide this by 1,000, the new value becomes 0.75 decimeter cubed. Okay, so now we have a value for our volume, got our new volume, and we can now compare it against our concentration. So the equation from earlier was mass equals to concentration multiplied by volume. Concentration was over here, 12, multiplied by my volume, which is here, 0.75. And the value for that is 9 grams. This is our video complete. We have looked at what is conservation of mass, calculating relative and formula mass, finding percentage by mass, and also calculating concentration of solutions. Any extra practice are linked below in the description box. As usual, make sure you do the 3-2-1, share it with 3 others, give it 2 clicks, like and subscribe, and finally leave 1 comment. Have a great one.